thought blocks. So Paul would have just continued right on into what we call chapter 3 here. Therefore, if you have been raised up with Christ, keep seeking the things above where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on the things above, not on the things that are on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. And when Christ, who is our life, is revealed, then you also will be revealed with Him in glory. What was the remedy for Paul? He just exalted Christ. He said, you want something that's going to help you wage war against the fleshly lusts that are attacking you day after day after day? Just exalt Christ in your life. Just exalt Christ in your life. Just have a mind that's so enamored with the beauty and the goodness of everything that God is for you in His Son and everything that He's going to be for you in His Son in the future that these fleshly lusts just lose their appeal. Think about what's going to happen when Christ is revealed in verse 3. When Christ, who is our life, is revealed, you will be revealed with Him in glory. Meditate on that truth. Meditate on the fact that it's not you who deserves it, but it's God who gives it to you through the faith that you place in His Son. He's forgiven your sins. And one day when His Son's revealed, you're going to be revealed with Him too in glory. And that's going to be so much better. It's going to be so much better than giving in to any fleshly lusts that you're tempted with right now. It's going to be so much better than all the pleasure that sexual immorality can bring you, all the wealth that greed can bring you, all the approval of men that selfish ambition can get you. To be revealed with Christ in all of His glory is going to be so much better. Fight against fleshly lust by exalting Christ in your life, by holding fast to the head, from whom the whole body, when it's connected, grows. There's where the power comes from. Of course, chances are, when you do exalt Christ in your life, and when you do fight those fleshly lusts with a superior vision of all that God is for you and His Son, you'll do some of those other things too. You'll want to gather together and worship with other people who are doing the same thing. You'll want to use what God has blessed you with to support the work of His kingdom. You'll want to abstain from things that are going to take your focus off of God. Might even involve some fasting, might even involve some praying, might even involve denying yourself some comforts of life, but it won't be to earn God's favor. It'll be because you love God and because you love His Son and because you've died with His Son and because you were looking forward to the glory that God's going to give you through His Son. That'll be why you do those things. You see the difference? Oh, we need to be careful that we haven't created some man-made religion here that we think is going to bring us favor with God. Rules are powerless against the real issue. The fleshly lusts that are waging war against our souls will not be conquered by rules. They won't be. We can have good behavior. We can fool the people around us. We can look really pious. We can have false humility. We can have self-made religion. We can treat our bodies really bad, deny ourselves all the comforts in the world. But we cannot defeat the sin that is waging war against our souls. Only Christ can do that. Only Christ can do that. And the only way that we will find victory in our lives on a day-to-day basis is by having a vision of Christ that is so beautiful and so glorious and having a vision of everything that God is for us in His Son. That's enough to pull us away from all the temptations that sin has to offer. That is the only way we'll find victory, not by making a bunch of rules. At best, we'll live lives that are defeated by sin and that give in to sin on a regular basis, and we'll have no victory and we'll have no power. That's at best. At worst, one day we'll stand before God and hear Him say, "Depart from me, I never knew you, because you thought you could earn my favor by doing good, and I'm sorry, but you couldn't." Don't let anybody defraud you. Don't let anybody steal your prize. Don't let anybody judge you either and say, "Well, if you don't do this or this or this, then you must not be a believer." Guess what? It's between you and God. Don't let anybody tell you if you're not fasting, if you're not at church for 8 hours every Sunday, if you're not wearing pants or wearing a skirt instead of pants, if you're not letting your hair grow long, if you're wearing makeup, if you're wearing earrings, if you're doing this, if you're doing that. Don't let anybody do those things. Don't let anybody tell you that's the substance, because it's not. The substance is, have you exalted Christ in your life? Have you identified with the death of Jesus Christ through faith? Have you received the forgiveness of sin that God gives you through Him? If you have, then those other things in your life will take care of themselves. So I just want to ask you this morning, probably like I think Paul was trying to ask the church at Colossae, what are you trusting for salvation? Are you trusting this system of rules that you've made as a way to relate to God? Is that what you're trusting? Trusting your church attendance? You trusting your fasting? Are you trusting your observance of some festival or feast day? Are you trusting your good behavior? You trust in the way that you're denying yourself physical pleasure for the sake of holiness? Is that what you're trusting? You trust in your own good works? If you are, you're going to be disappointed. One day you're going to stand before God and realize the prize has been taken from you. Don't trust in what you can do, because you can't do enough. You cannot do enough to pay for your own sin. Trust in what God has done for you through His Son. That's all that we have. It's all that we have. It's the only way that we'll achieve salvation. Ask yourself that question this morning. What are you trusting to be made right with God? If it's anything that you can do or anything that you have done, you will be disappointed one day. If you're trusting what God has done for you through His Son,